Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back. Thank you for stopping by once again. It's time for another episode of Dun 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 Eddie G's Comic Culture. Once again, I'm your host, the one and only Eddie G, bringing it to you guys live and in full effect as I always do. I'd like to thank you for stopping by, especially to all of my return viewers. Thank you for sticking with me through thick and thin with this show. It's been quite a bit of a ride for me. I appreciate the love. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. This show is basically just, it's not just about comic books, but it's also about movies and music as well. Also, everything regarding pop culture, anything regarding pop culture from the past, present, and the future. And it's pretty much just a forum for everyone out, for people like myself and you guys out there to have something to discuss basically outside of basically regarding these interests. Um, First and foremost, the show is still sponsored by the good folks over at Black Apparel. So make sure you check out their website for me, www.blackapparelblk.com. They got some awesome stuff on their website. They got some great merchandise, some serious content. If you guys have some extra ducats you got lying around, make sure you check them out if you want to pick something up. They've been releasing some good stuff on their Facebook page as of recently. So sending a special shout out to a good friend and brother of mine out in New Jersey, Kevin Seawright. Thank you for all the love and the contributions that you've given to the show. Um, I appreciate it, brother. And sending a special shout out to my Instagram friend out there, Blu-ray Dan. Make sure you check out his page. If you guys have an account, stop by, take a look at it. He's got some awesome reviews regarding all sorts of Blu-rays, films from back in the days until now. As I said, past, present, and future. And he's also got a detailed journey of his own regarding his own personal weight loss, which has been astounding, very phenomenal. If you see where he came from, you guys would know that he's been a great inspiration. He's a great inspiration to everybody who's looking to get physically fit and live a healthy lifestyle. I know we all got our own ups and downs, but we got to do what we can to try to make it through the day, man. So basically, also he's got a YouTube channel, so make sure you stop by. Uh, and to all of my friends and family that have been supporting this, much love. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you guys. So with that being said, it's time to get kicked. It's time to kick it. Let's get into the show. Well, it's been a while since I decided to start, do a show surrounding the topic of music as of recently. I know the Grammys was this past week, and to be quite honest, I really wasn't too thrilled with a lot of the stuff that's been going on. They had some pretty dope performances, thankfully. They were all through Kendrick Lamar, though. I really didn't mess with a lot of the stuff that they had going on at that time with the Bruno Mars, and even though I kind of do, guilty pleasure, I'll admit it right about now. I do kind of like Cardi B, but I lived in, as a Bronx boy, I just gotta support. Not trying to be an asshole or anything like that, but yeah. Um, but swaying from all of that, I wanted to talk to you guys because if you're like me, you're in my age bracket in the 30s. I'm not gonna disclose my age with y'all for those that don't know. But let's just I'm in my for all of y'all in the 30s, early to mid 30s, like I am. Um, I know a lot of stuff that's been going on. There's been a lot of crazy shit that's been happening in the entertainment world this year. Since last year actually, with the whole situation with Harvey Weinstein, and a lot of Hollywood execs got lost their started losing some power in Hollywood, considering what was being done regarding sexual misconduct and harassment. So a lot of people have been coming out of the woodworks detailing a lot of their situations and experiences, the horrifying experiences that they had to endure. Uh, excuse me, regarding their careers in the spotlight. And one of the things I wanted to discuss this week, I read an article, and it's actually no, I did read an article. Apparently, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this cat, vladtv. He's on YouTube as well. He usually does a lot of interviews with hip hop artists and a lot of crazy celebrities as well. And one of the things that got me was that he actually decided to discuss. If you guys remember, I know you guys know Tupac, and I don't know if you guys remember him like we are, like I remember him, but back in the days, of course, Tupac did some time in jail as he was convicted of a rape and sexual assault case, and he was actually there for about a year in upstate New York, locked up for that. And even though he's always defended his innocence, and I didn't really think that it was a I don't not that I not that I say that it's not saying that I'm not saying that I don't think he was actually ever capable of doing that, because anybody excuse me, any sick individual with a goal in their mind like that can be capable of doing some horrific shit. And I personally never really believed it. I didn't think that he was the man who was behind stuff like that. So you know, if you remember the '90s, very much so. He was doing his time. He did have like his first platinum album released with that "Me Against the World" that had "Dear Mama" and "Temptations" and quite a few bangers on that. But we never got to see the face of the woman who actually went ahead and gave these accusations. So apparently now, for the first time, vladtv actually spoke with her. This woman who now decides to just who decides to speak her piece. I don't know how Vlad tracked her down, or what was the issue. Or maybe I have a feeling she just pretty much contacted him herself. But I was reading. I didn't want to watch the interview because I was just, as a lifelong fan I've been a fan of Tupac for quite some time. He was one of my favorite rappers coming up in the game, and back in the days, it was basically either Wu Tang, Biggie, or Bone Thugs and Harmony, Redman, or Tupac. And I was a huge Redman fan. I was a big, I was a ride or die Redman fan. I love his music. I love his albums, his early albums, of course. I haven't been purchasing any of his more recent work, even though he's actually gotten better with his rhymes after so many years. Honestly, because if you listen to especially "There Is a Dark Side," like I don't know what happened. Well, he was actually on acid, from what he said. He said he recorded that whole album on acid, so it was kind of fucked up. So that it came out like that. But not to divulge from that, and not to diverge from the entire situation or the topic. So he's talking to this woman, and apparently she's giving her detailed account as to what went down. Apparently, this whole thing went down in the Parker Meridian Hotel in Manhattan, and you know what? I don't like to try to I don't want to discredit people. I really don't. It's not in my nature to do so, and I'm nobody to do so either. But in my honest opinion, it's almost 25 years now after the fact that this whole shit went down. This whole thing happened, and Pac is gone. His mother's gone. A lot of his friends, a lot of his friends aren't really in the spotlight like that anymore. Some of them are gone or in jail too. You know, from his groups. I don't know if you remember Thug Life and the Outlaws, but so there's really not much around there to defend them at this point. And I couldn't help but feel like this woman was basically coming out of the woodworks just to cash in and exploit on a movement that really had nothing to do. She really had no business getting involved in. What happened already. The man is gone now. The man is long passed already. 22 years already. It's gonna be 22 years in September. So it's been that long. And so I don't see no real reason as to why this woman should be out in the spotlight. She's trying to she gave a detailed account about it and all kinds of crazy shit. And the way she described the scenario, it was really easy to, you know what? I couldn't help. I'm just gonna say it. I felt like she was a groupie trying to get the limelight. Just trying to get into the limelight, get that little 15-second of fame. That's just all there is to it. After looking through the whole facts, you know what I'm saying, looking through all these different accounts of the story, and especially what went down, and then considering now that the timing is this bad too, and I'm not discrediting anybody who makes who actually came out, and there's a lot of cases like that. There's definitely a lot of cases like that should be looked into, but this was a situation that it was already deaded from jump. Like, the guy had already went to jail. He served his time. He got bailed out. He was angry at the world because of the shit that happened to him, which you really couldn't blame him. You really couldn't blame him. A lot of people in the industry at that time really turned their back on it, and it was just really fucked up that she came out of nowhere to do this. So at this point, and it was funny because I'm actually reading the comment section, and everybody's feeling the same shit that I'm saying. Like the same thing that I'm saying is just this. She's just a thought trying to get herself into the spotlight. I hate using, the street in me comes out, and this is where I get because that now when I get offended, when I get upset, this the street in me comes out, and I hate that. It's only you should only that shit should only be out when it needs to come out. You know what I'm saying? And that's barely ever. But this was a case that just it really lit a fire under my ass because I couldn't believe that this woman was actually out there and just discussing the details of something that happened so long ago. Because I bet you dollars to donuts if Afeni Shakur was still alive at this very day, she wouldn't do this interview. That interview would have never happened. And even if it did happen, there would have been quite a bit of a dispute going on along the way. So I really couldn't help but really feel disgusted at the fact that this woman was just basically an opportunist. And then listening to the details, reading those excuse me, like I said, I didn't even bother watching the interview. Maybe sometime I will, but reading the details of the interview, it just the way she was out there, the way she was out in certain nightclubs, at certain parts of town, and the way she was behaving, like she was just looking for basically, like I said, she was a groupie hoe. She sounded like a groupie hoe. She made herself look like a groupie hoe at this point, So whatever the case may be is whatever the case may be. However, I don't want to put any stock to it. I was quite offended that she actually, but I was quite offended as a fan of Tupac. I was definitely offended over the fact that she went ahead and went on the record to talk about this case that happened over 20 something years ago, 25 years ago. Bullshit. No, because he was 23. Excuse me, 23. Because I think this went down around 94. And it didn't take long for the courts to convict him. It really didn't. Tupac when he was in court, he just, it really was just like a wham bam, thank you, man. Like they got him. Prior to the fact, well, he did have some priors, but because he did have his run-ins with the law, but nevertheless, it railed him. It literally railed him and put him in a place where he shouldn't have been. And to be in a maximum security prison, that the way he was, it was just. We all know the story. Everything went funky from there on out. But it was just really sad to see that this woman was out there putting a spin on a story that basically I didn't really appreciate at all. So I hope that at this point in time that this person doesn't leech off of the system by trying to do things that she shouldn't be doing, like getting a book deal or whatever the case may be, or God knows what, because she really doesn't need it. She really doesn't need it, and she doesn't deserve it. In all honesty, she really doesn't deserve it. In all honesty, that to me was a clear case example of someone just putting themselves in the wrong place, and knowingly so. At that time, I understand that a lot of people we have to defend. A lot of people, nothing makes bad shit happening any much more okay than what it is, but we got to start accepting. A lot of people need to start accepting responsibility for their actions nowadays, and if that's the case, then what I'm saying, fuck that. Everyone else should get a free pass as well. Real talk, like there shouldn't be no discrimination on anybody else at this point. If nobody's going to be taking responsibility for their actions and their behavior for and their poor decision making at that timeline, like it really doesn't. You really hold no water with me when it comes to arguing. You understand what I'm saying? All that other shit, like yeah, I feel you and I feel for you, and the situation sucks, but my G, you really knew. You should have known better, and I'm pretty sure you did, but you didn't act on it. So instead of that, it was just really offensive, and I'm hoping to God that this whole deal blows up in her face, because she really doesn't. There's really nothing she deserves out of this. No recognition whatsoever. I'd rather not even see her. And I'm pretty sure there's another asshole like Wendy Williams who's gonna scoop her up and put her on a show again. And Wendy Williams was just another. She's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. She's always been a gossip artist, so I really didn't care for her. I didn't really care for her. I don't care for her show. I don't care for her. I don't care for none of that. I don't care for her at all. But she's the type of vulture who would actually scoop this up to put on her show. And luckily enough, hopefully it doesn't come down that way. Hopefully the estate will sue, put a stop on her for that too, because she had her issues with Park as well. But it was just, like I said, very upsetting, very upsetting. So if you guys ever have a chance to check it out, make sure you do so. If you're a fan of Tupac like myself, let me know how you guys feel about it, because I was really pissed off regarding that entire scene. So, being that as it may, I'm gonna move right along and leave that alone. And I want to discuss what's going on as of recently. Man, the hype for Black Panther is getting super real right now. I cannot wait to see this movie. Everybody's been going crazy. The world premiere was lit. Apparently, everybody, like, the audiences are loving it. They're saying that this is one of the best MCU entries in the game. I'm hoping to goodness that it does great, because we deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's high time we you know. Blade to me wasn't really a marketable. Blade to me was a black superhero, of course, but he really wasn't a marketable superhero, considering at the time that he came out, the time period that it was for Wesley Snipes to put out that movie in the late '90s, and plus it was a rated R movie as well. So it really wasn't like it's not gonna reach a broader demographic, excuse me, as Black Panther will, and judging by the stuff, I haven't been watching any of the clips because I'm trying to avoid all spoilers. Knowing me, I usually check out one or two clips about the week of release, but 3 to 4 weeks in advance, I don't do that. Like, I'm trying not to kill. That's just torture. I'm killing myself, so I'd rather not do it for that reason alone. And but damn, it's looking amazing. And then on top of that, the soundtrack is looking crazy as well. A lot of Kendrick Lamar joints are on that soundtrack. So if you guys are Kendrick Lamar fans like I am, make sure you pick it up or download it or something, man, because it's gonna be hot. It's definitely gonna be hot. I cannot wait to see this. And the effects of and plus, to top it off, this is gonna be the movie that leads directly into Infinity War in May. So that's definitely something to be looking forward to. Also, Ant-Man and the Wasp looks amazing. I saw the trailer the other day. It just came out, was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. It looks fantastic, phenomenal. It looks better. It looks more intriguing than the first one, and I'm actually hyped to see it now. I did like the first one. It was a bit of a sleeper hit for me. I was kind of skeptical about it, even though I knew Guardians of the Galaxy. I already knew it was going to be a hit. I knew it. When I was reading the comics, I read the books. There was everything in there for a Marvel Cosmic Universe to jump on screen the way it should have, and it did. It's fire. It's definitely fire. Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing. Ant-Man, on the other hand, I was kind of on the fence. I didn't really know what it was going to be about. I didn't know how it was going to play out, but it did. It turned out great. It did turn out well. And Michael Douglas, of course, was another. The chemistry between him and Paul Rudd was amazing. So I can't wait to see this next one. I think it's coming out after Infinity War, so I want to know how that's gonna play into after the effects. It's gonna be the after effects of the aftershock of that movie, going forward into the. Because I believe we're going into Phase 4 now, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Black Panther should be Phase 4 of Marvel's movies at this point, but I have to double check that. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that. But it is looking amazing, though. Definitely amazing. That's gonna be a day one for me, if not a day two. Uh, but I cannot wait to see it. I definitely can't wait to see it. And it looks like right about now. The Super Mario movie has finally found a studio. It looks like the same production team that's behind the Despicable Me movies are going to be working with Shigeru Miyamoto, the Mario creator himself, to bring the movie out to the big screen. So that's amazing. That sounds fun. It's definitely sounding fun as of right now. I'm still playing Mario Odyssey. At this point, I finished the game, but I'm doing the extra levels and so on and so forth, and it's been fun. I know you guys checked my review the other day. For you fans for Princess Peach, I'm sorry if I offended you, but she was acting a certain type. She was acting a certain type of way. Not to be misogynistic, but she was just acting a certain type of way that I didn't like. Um, but yeah, it's definitely something else. And also, of course, it's time for some disappointing news from Warner Brothers. Uh, we still don't have a Man of Steel sequel, of course not. But now they made an announcement that Metropolis will be getting a TV show in the same vein as Gotham. And this is a real pisser for me because I don't like that. It's bullshit. Like, who cares? Why are they wasting? Why is Warner Brothers and DC Studios wasting so much valuable resources on shit that they don't need? They really don't need. Gotham works because it's Gotham. All right, I still haven't. Krypton hasn't premiered yet. It's supposed to come on in March. I'm gonna check it because it's debuting on Sci-Fi. I want to know what that's gonna look like. But at the end of the day, another show. So this means Superman has had three different shows at this point on. We're talking about Smallville. Now we got Krypton, and then coming up is now Metropolis. What the hell? Why can't we just get a Man of Steel sequel? Why? What the hell is so difficult about that? What is wrong with Superman and Warner Brothers? What is wrong with Warner Brothers taking a leap of faith in Superman? Like, it doesn't, like, they don't seem to give a shit at this point, and it's really starting to piss me off. The only good thing that I've actually could say and I'm hoping that, and this is just a rumor, and mind you, this is a shot in the dark, is that Henry Cavill is supposed to be it's rumored that Henry is going to be making a cameo in Shazam as Superman, which makes sense considering that the character of Shazam actually models himself after Superman. Superman is his role model, so that would be a great thing to see. But I'm really getting fed up with a lot of the shit Warner Brothers is doing, and it's just really terrible, really terrible. They really don't know how to handle their DC properties anymore, and it's a damn shame because I was watching Netflix late last night. What was on? And guess what's on Netflix? All of the Batman films, not Batman Begins, Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Rises. I'm talking about the original Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Fuck Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Those two are atrocities. Don't ever watch them. They're garbage. They're just as bad, if not worse, than Justice League or anything that's been out as of recently. But then you got these masterpieces like Batman and Batman Returns, and yet they can't seem to strike fire anymore. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really want WB to get their shit together really bad, and it's taking them such a long ass time to do so. I get it. They got to rebuild a lot of stuff, unfortunately, because of this retarded hack director of that they chose to give the keys to this entire establishment to their franchise, and he fucked that up. But at the end of the day, I want to see some good shit. I want to see some development coming to life. I don't want to see Zack Snyder anymore. It's a shame that he's still. I'm tired of even mentioning the man's name. But at this point, he's still like a fixture in a lot of fans' minds right about now, and it's really aggravating the piss out of me. I am so tired of these ridiculous articles about an extended edition of Justice League coming out on Blu-ray. It's not going to happen. Stop smoking that glass pipe. It's not coming out. Leave it alone. The movie's literally weeks away, about 2 or 3 weeks away from a digital release, and then March it hits the beginning of March it hits Blu-ray and DVD. So at this point right now, my fingers are crossed. I'm having faith at the simple fact that they're gonna do the Suicide, you know what's even more offensive is that Suicide Squad, which is a far worse film than Man of Steel, which is so much worse than Man of Steel. That's getting a sequel, and it's starting filming in about a couple of months. So that's really it really needs to get to it boils down to a point. I need Warner Brothers to get their shit together and get their act right, seriously. But we can only see what's going to happen in the future. Time will tell. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys. I'm going to have to close this out because it is getting late. Thank you guys for writing out again, for watching the show. I appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, you guys already know. There's the comment section below. Hit me up. Let me know what you want to talk about. If you agree or disagree with my points on this show, especially on this episode, let me know. As once again, the views that I expressed in the beginning of the show regarding the topic really doesn't make it's not discrediting those who have suffered prior to that, but in this case, excuse me, in this case, I have to call it what it is, and I smell bullshit when it came to that Vlad interview. And if you guys see the Vlad TV interview and you're Tupac fans yourselves, let me know what you think about that. Were you as angry as I am, or were you just meh, whatever? Fun fact: every time I start my show, man, I had to do like 4 or 5 different takes just to do my intro, which really sucks, and it still comes out choppy at time to time. But that's what you get when you do stuff unscripted. So once again, thank you guys. I love you guys. Make sure you stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you around on Instagram and Facebook. I'll keep a lookout. I am still working on that Facebook page for the show, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace and love. Take care.